Hey guys, it's Lisa back with another video for you for Lisa Wise Designs, and today we're going to start part 2 of these Thanksgiving and Christmas blocks and the mini albums. So yesterday we got through with basically putting together the mini. So we did the front and the back, and all that's really left is to put on some magnets and do some decorating. But if you don't mind, today I'm going to skip to the blocks. And quite frankly, that's kind of how, when I was designing it, what I did. I really wanted to make sure that the papers that I wanted to put on display, that I didn't cut them up, and made sure that I had the right orientation. So let's do that today. So if you've just joining us on this journey, you can go a couple of videos back and you will see a full preview of this double-sided album and these double-sided blocks. And if you'd like to purchase the kit that has everything in it that you need besides your tools to put it together, there's a link in the description box below this video to my Etsy shop. And if you just want to make it with your own supplies, you can also just pick up the tutorial, which will be a full color cutting guide. This one is 22 pages long with full color instructions, and then also of course you have this video series. So today let's skip over to page 21, and we're going to be cutting out the black mats, putting them on our blocks on both sides, and then cutting out and decorating with the pattern paper. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So let me tell you what I've got out. First of all, like I said, it's hard for me to hold these together. I guess I should have glued one of these blocks. Let me hold this up just a little closer so you can kind of see on the bottom there where there's a sticker under Thanksgiving along with like one set of bling. And there's some pretty good pictures on the very last page of your cutting guide of that down here and exactly what I used. So hopefully that is helpful. And let me see. I never get it right. If I put them like this, turn them over. And I know I could hot glue them together, but I just really don't want to. I really want them to just be blocks. And my 8-month-old, when she was visiting, isn't that really cute? She loved these and she was playing with them. And of course I had to take them away from her because she wanted to put them in her mouth. So the next trip to Walmart, I will be getting her a set of blocks. Okay, maybe I can just put this here. I'm not sure if this will be in the way for now, but go ahead and get out your blocks. You should have 6 pieces. There's one long piece, that's the bottom here. Then you're going to have 3 mediums. They're going to go on the outside and top center, and then your 2 smallest ones go like this. So it makes a visual triangle, and they're all about 1.5 inches wide. And so the mats that we cut for everything will be, look how different that one looks in the camera, but it's the same. Look at that when I turn it. They'll all be 1 1/4 on the mats wide. So, but that's in your cutting guide. So this is kind of what I had left when I cut out my album, all these pieces. So I went through and all these strips that, are about 1.5 inches, 2 inches or so. I took all these strips and cut them down to 1 1/4. When I say all the strips, I did about 3 strips that way and was able to get all of my black pieces. So be sure and save all of your black scraps for your matting and for this. All right, Mary, I'm gonna have to put you over here. Let's see, just like that. And then here, I kind of have mine pre-cut, my A, B, and C pieces. That is here on the cutting guide. So you can get 6 pieces at 1 1/4 by 2 3/4, and 4 pieces at 1 1/4 by 2, and 2 pieces at 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to mat both sides. So this is the other things that I have out. These are the papers that I'm going to use to mat. And so of course please personalize this, make it your own, pick what you want to. But I'll also kind of walk you through when I was designing this, why I chose the things I did, and that might help you too if you're picking yours out. So I'm gonna use this orange. It's kind of a darker orange on orange, and that's the back of it. But this is what I'm gonna use there. I'm gonna use this plaid, and then I'm gonna use this smaller print. That's the leaves and acorns. And then on the Christmas side, I got 2 papers picked out because I'm going to use some of the back. So this holly leaf with the red, I'm going to be using those 2. And then I'm going to be using the stripe paper. And then we're going to use a couple of stickers off each sheet. So I'm going to hold those sticker sheets over here out of my way. We're going to cut these down in a moment. I'm going to put those away and we'll work on this. So I'll kind of lay these out. This will be your C piece. And then you have 3 A pieces that go like that. And then of course you have 2 B pieces. I'll move these out of my way for now. Just kind of want to dry fit it. So this is going to be very easy. And then we'll cut and decorate this. So while I'm gluing, I'll kind of talk you through this one of why I did it this way. Let me get my art glitter glue. I'm trying out the 1 ounce bottle. Aren't you jealous? Don't you love my new Stopper Topper? It's this, I don't know what color blue that is, but it is absolutely beautiful. And my birthday is in September, so I love anything that's dark blue like a sapphire. And it's got this camera that's kind of like my logo. I love it. Okay, well, I might have glued it to the bottle. That would be my luck today. All right, let me make sure everything's working good. Oh, the technical difficulties. If not, I'll grab my other one, but here's the pen out of my bigger bottle here. So when I was designing this, you want to mix and match your patterns, of course, but you want to do it in a way that makes sense. And so your eye has a place to follow, but it also has a place to rest. So if you look here, when I was designing it, I put the 2 bookends. See, there's the same pattern. These are the same patterns, and these are the same patterns. So no matter what you choose a smallish type pattern so that it makes sense in a small area. And I would suggest doing it kind of like this. And then I kind of put this almost a solid. It's a little bit of a pattern, but it kind of looks like a solid when you look at it. It's red on red between the letters, so it kind of makes sense and it's not all jumbled. And the only 2 that are touching are the same, if that makes sense. And then I'll turn this over. Watch me make a mess. And I did the same thing here. And see, these are the same. These are the same, and there's the same. And then this is kind of my quote solids there. Look at that. I guess the vacuum is back here on this little bottle. It's wanting to come out. So this will be easy peasy. You're just going to give yourself about 1/8 of an inch on the sides, and you may have a teensy bit more on the top because, like I said, these are hand cut and sanded, and they might be sanded again if they didn't get, you know, exactly smooth the first time around. So these are not going to be perfect. You can even choose which sides you want to work on because you can kind of see some of them have more of the wood grain than others. So just kind of take a look at that as you're going through. So I may speed up this video or edit it out and cut to the next scene where we do our pattern paper because this is kind of self-explanatory here. All the work basically has been done for you. Like I said, my wonderful sister cut these, sanded them, and then actually stained them, which was a huge help. And then I've got the measurements there for you and kind of shown you the formula of how I would put it together if I were you, even if you choose different papers. And I think this will be neat if you had these blocks and you did your own pattern papers that went with your home decor, right? Some of you might be doing the farmhouse look. Some of you might be doing this modern look, and you could choose papers that would fit. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on the back side, and then I'll get back with you. The one thing that I would caution as we're doing this is I wouldn't have these laying everywhere, just pick one up and work on it. I would be very careful about turning them over and making sure you got, your back on your back and you're working on the right side. Flip these over here, because believe me, it will be very easy to do, and then you might be very sad. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm looking at this. All my black, yeah, it's here. There, okay, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, so I've got my blocks all glued down, and so now let's work on pattern papers. Put this here. I may have to move this out of the frame so I can cut. So let's do fall, since that's what I have on your cutting guide, and I'm at the bottom of page 21. I'm going to start with my plaid. So this is what's going to go on this first and last block for me. I'm going to start by cutting off the branding strip. And I'm going to see what's on the back. All right, so there's not really anything I have to really worry about. I guess direction-wise, I'm going to put this out of the way for now. So I'm going to cut all of my pieces the width 1 1/8, and I know that's not fun to some folks, but it really needs to be 1 1/8 because they're all 1 1/4, and usually we would come down if you were matting a book, you come down by 1/4 inch, but this is such a small area, I think it's not going to look right, so let's go down by 1/8. So 1 1/8. And that's going to be your marks between 1 and 1 1/4. So it's halfway between 1 and 1 1/4. So I'm going to do a long strip here. And then I need it to be 2 5/8. So 5/8 is right past a half. So 2 1/2. And I'm going to go over to 2 5/8. So it's right between 2 1/2 and 2 3/4. Okay. So 2 5/8. Okay, so that's all we need there is these two pieces. I'm going to take this first block. I'm just going to make sure that that looks okay on the black mat. So that's exactly what I want it to look like. So those, the first and the last blocks are done. There we go. So let's go on over to the orangish paper. Okay, on the second cut, you need to grab your orange piece of paper. I think this is damask, right? And on the back, it has your 3x4 cut aparts. I'm going to start, I got a lot of sticky notes on here. I'm going to start by cutting off the branding strip. So now let's take a look at this. This one, since it's cut aparts and you only have one sheet, you need to plan accordingly. All the ones that I have the sticky notes on is the ones I definitely used in my album and I'm going to be using again. So you can take a look at this and decide if this works for you. If you really want this, or there's another one you really want, just plan ahead. Now we do use the Bayer, but I use it in the stickers. I didn't use the cut apart. So see, here's one here. This is actually a cut apart back here. Here's that other cut apart. Just kind of walk you through here. See, I do use this Bayer, but it's a sticker, so I don't necessarily need that one. This is a cut apart where I just use the top half. Nothing else in there. And then I also use this cut apart here. So, like I say, you might just want to take a look at the pictures and plan accordingly before we make these cuts. I'm not going to use these, and I'm not going to use these for sure. So, I'm going to cut this strip off because I know I'm using all of these. I have the advantage of hindsight, right? Because I know which ones I use. So I'm definitely using this piece. I'm going to put that to the side. And then you kind of need to decide, maybe it's this whole strip here. If I'm not going to use those, I could just cut off the bottom. And then I still have these. Like, I really like that Happy Thanksgiving one. I could actually, you know, save that one and then just cut these right here. So I think that might be what I do. So how much of this do we need? We really only need 2 pieces at 1 1/8 by 1 7/8. So let's see, you probably need a couple of these wide. So that's okay. I'm just gonna cut off the bottom at 1 1/8. Here. All right, and that may be all I have to cut. So this is the one sheet. Like I said, you just need to be careful before you cut because it's got the cutter parts on the back. Most of them we don't have to really worry about. So now that I have this strip, I need them to be 1 7/8 long. And so that's gonna be between 1 3/4 and 2. So almost 2 inches, 1 7/8. And I'm gonna do that 2 times. And these are going to be my small blocks here, just like that. Okay, then I have this strip left. I'm going to hold on to that. That would be really sad if you just start cutting and you cut into your cutter parts before you made your decision. So I really wanted to spend a teensy bit of time on that. I'm sorry if I went too detailed into that. So here's your leaf paper with the dots. And once again, we need 1 1/8. But let me caution you on this one too, because this one has a vertical orientation. So on my 2 blocks, I wanted them to make sense. So I cut this one with a vertical orientation, and I cut this one with a horizontal strip. So if that makes sense there too. So see, if I just cut up and down and I try to turn it and put it on this, it's not going to make sense. So we're gonna have to sacrifice on this one and make a couple of cuts here, which is fine. We have doing a mini album, and that's okay. So I'm gonna need a strip off the bottom, and see how that's gonna go here. But if you turn it and do that, that doesn't make sense. And maybe you don't care about that, but that would bother me. And I'm gonna do a strip off the side. So the one with the vertical orientation is going to be this middle block, and that middle block is going to be 2 5/8. Remember, that's almost 2 3/4. So 2 5/8 goes here, just like that. And then the one with the horizontal is going to be this block, and this needs to be 4 1/8, so a little over 4 inches, not quite 4 1/4, just like that. So that's how I did mine. And then you have these strips that we can use, and you got plenty of paper. We don't want to be wasteful, but we do have plenty of paper to finish this project. Okie dokie. Now, through this whole project, I am going to be distressing using Distress ink and black soot, along with my really old inking tool here from Ranger. Just going to do the edges, the pattern paper. Like I said, this is an easy but fun project. Just got to kind of think through it just a teensy bit. Here we go. Oh, almost forgot the bottom one. And then having those letters already cut for you is really nice, because that took a while to design. Cut them all out, bag them up, that type thing, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So next step is super easy. We're just going to put this together. So I am filming a couple of these videos ahead of time on the weekend, but the last 3 or 4 toward the end of the week, I will be able to see your comments and be able to answer them on video if you have any questions. So you can always ask questions underneath this video or in my Etsy shop. You can just contact me there, or you can send me an email at lisawisedesigns@gmail.com, and all of those links to what I just mentioned are below. in that little detail box underneath this video. I just want to say thank you again for the tremendous support that I have gotten so far. When I first rolled out my first 3 kits, you know, you had to get your information out there, and you had to tell people kind of what you got going. And of course it was slow and a lot of advertising, and I did a lot of legwork. And the second round, doing this one, you guys have really supported me now that you know that I'm there. And I really appreciate that, because I do put a lot of detail into my cutting guides. I think that might be what takes me the longest. Okay, so I think I've got my, I'll put my stripe this way. I think I've got this kind of handled here. Cute. So I'm going to do the same thing and cut my Christmas paper. I'm not going to go ahead and decorate and put everything at the bottom, because then it gets a little wonky, because I do put a little flat-ish bling on it, and then it's got a little bit of dimension to it. Makes it a little more difficult. So what I want to do, all is not lost if you don't do this, but from experience, I know that if I kind of keep it together and then work one at a time, put it right back down, I won't make a mistake. Because if you turn this one and it's upside down when you decorate it, you might be pretty sad if you're able to see both sides at one time, that one of your letters is always upside down the other side. If you put it on a bookshelf, no one's ever going to know that. But if you're me and you're a little anal, it definitely would make you a little crazy. So when I get to my Christmas paper here, so there's only 2 sheets of this. I'm going to start by taking off that binding strip. Both of these sheets. Okay. So the first cuts is going to be, I'm going to turn my sample over on my desk here. Okay, I must admit I have spent the most time rearranging these blocks than I ever thought that I would ever do. Yeah, so I definitely probably should have, well, I'll be able to see it. Probably should have thought that through. So Santa Claus on the back, so we're good. So I'm going to cut mine off the side, because I want my stripes running right to left, not up and down. So I'm going to go over on the right side and cut a strip at 1 1/8. And then I'm going to cut 2 of these down to 2 5/8. So not quite 2 3/4. 2 5/8. So if you get it wrong the first time, you've still got enough strip left to do another one, because I really have to think where those 8s are myself, so don't feel bad. So those will go here and here. That. Okay, and the next sheet is this holly, and this really doesn't have a horizontal or vertical line, so I think you're good there to cut it either way. So I'm going to cut my 1 1/8 strip here. I think we may have to have 2 strips, because we're going to use the front and the back. I'm going to start with 1. And so on this one, we need, let me see. If I flip it to the red so that I don't get confused, I'm going to need 1 7/8, so almost 2 inches. 1 7/8. Do that twice. So those are going to go here and here. And then using the same sheet, I'm going to do that middle block. It's 2 5/8. So almost 2 3/4. That will go here. And so since this really doesn't have a direction, I can use this one going this way. Oh, I just needed 1 strip. That works, and I didn't do the math in my head, but it did work. So that's great. They make fun of me at work because I'm an accountant, and a lot of times I can't do the math in my head. But you know, I grew up in the age of calculators. Why do I have to try and do math in my head? Now, I will count on my fingers some and during budget meetings, and they find that to be quite hilarious. So, yeah, this one, since there was not any orientations, really in the patterns, this one's a little bit easier. So I'm glad we did that fall one first. All right, so I'm just going to ink these up and then glue. And I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I've got all of my pattern paper glued on there, and go and find your plastic baggie that has got your letters in it. And then at the first of this, I took out my 2 little pieces that's also in your plastic bag. I took mine out though. These are these teeny tiny black blings. So don't lose those, Lisa. Put these right over there, look like 2 eyes. And then you're gonna need your sticker sheets. You're only gonna use a couple of small ones, but we're still gonna need those. So be careful in this. You see these little black dots here? Those are like the dotting of the eyes in the word. So don't throw those away if you see them falling around in the plastic bag. So I'm kind of do the same thing there. I'm gonna have to put those to the side. So if you do not find these, I tried to take extra care, but if you don't find them in your kit, or if you lose one, then just take a hole punch and just punch you some tiny circles is all I would do. So I tried to do a really good job of putting these together. So my merry, the merry and the happy words should be together. That there, and then in one of these, here's my Christmas and my Thanksgiving, except they're upside down, and I can see some more dots in there. So I'm just taking extra care to get everything out and not lose anything. Okay, so all in all, you should have three of these little dots, because in Christmas you got 1 eye, and Thanksgiving you have 2. So there's that. All right. And then you could also, if you have some black bling or any color bling, you could use those to dot your eyes also. I hadn't even thought about that till then. Okay, since I'm on the Christmas side, that is where I will start. So here's my Christmas word. You can see on a couple of mine, get over here, this little white sheet of paper. The middle of the A is still in there, and some of the S and R. So just take your pokey tool or a toothpick or the end of a pencil with the lead rolled down, and just take a couple minutes to clean this up and push those out anywhere you see it. Like my S has still got a little bit here, and my A, the inside on mine was still there. If you have lots of issues, I like to work on the back, so that way if something tears away a little bit, it's on the back. So there we go. So mine looks pretty good. All right. So don't forget, on the block, we're going to put a tiny sticker that says Noel, and then a snowflake and a tiny black bling. So I put mine at an angle, like you can see there, and then this leftover spot is where we're going to put our sticker. So I'll move this down. I kind of keep this here. I'm not sure if you can see that well enough. There we go. Let me see if I can kind of bring myself in a little bit there. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to my fine metal tip, even though I've been playing with that other one, because this is really, really small. So I'm just going to dot some glue, especially around the very edges on the tops and bottoms and on the sides, because that's what's probably going to get the most wear. And turn it over, and then just put it at an angle. And it's like I'm holding my breath. It's okay. I know it's going to fit because I did this before. But yeah, you might want to dry fit it first just to kind of see where you want to put it. I should have done that step, sorry. But at least I didn't put the Thanksgiving on the Christmas paper. I mean, you know, it could have been worse. Okay, so for the dots, I have a couple different ones of these, but this is the jewel picker. There's lots of different versions of these type products, but it's got a little tacky substance on it where you can pick things up. So I'm just going to, let's see, pick up my dot with it, kind of see where I want it to go. and then switch hands because I can't do anything left-handed, and put a dot of glue right where I want that to be, and then put that down. And you can also do this with tweezers. So it fell right before it got to it. So that was helpful. That's helpful, quick stick. If I can push it on there, it's fine. So I'm going to try to pick up that extra glue on this little scrap piece. There we go. That's going to be great. Just great. Okay. Since I'm doing this little fine work, I'm going to go ahead and swap over and put Thanksgiving down since it's here. And same thing, I might have to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, I think I've got everything out of there. This time I'll do the smart thing, kind of dry fit it to see exactly where I need it to go. Oh, I needed to, because Thanksgiving's got those G's in it, so it's a little bit longer. All right, I think everything's good. Just strategically place some dots, especially on the very ends and at the top and bottom of letters. Go. Do you feel like you hold your breath and you do these type things? I don't know why. It's not that stressful. It's not the end of the world, but I seem to do that. Here we go. Give me a little bit of time. Art glitter glue gives you very little time. And my G is a little bit further down here, but that's okay. It still looks really cute. And now I'm going to dot my eye. I'm going to do one at a time. Put my glue here. And same here. I don't use these every time I craft, but when you need them, boy, do they come in handy. These little jewel picker sticks, whatever. All right. That looks good. So now I'm going to, oh, I didn't turn my block over. That was not helpful. So now I'm going to move on and take a look at my letters. So put my pen, my glue, go back to my Christmas side, and just kind of take a look and lay these out. They're probably not going to be in order because you know how the Cricut does. It just kind of puts it together in the least amount of space. So you may have to kind of pick through them. All right, there's the Y. There we go. So M and the E, and then a tall R, and then a short R, and a Y, just like that. Okay. All right, then I'm going to glue these on. So please do give me some honest feedback. Well, if it's nice feedback, right? If you like this home decor part of this craft. This is something new, like I said, for me and my sister. And she mentioned to me today at church that she might, be willing to do some more of these wooden pieces. Of course, it would be a little different for maybe in the spring to do something Eastery. And I think that would be fun if we could come up with an idea. Or if not, if this is just something novel that was fun to do at Christmas, that's fine too. And then we'll just move on and do some more mini albums or some other type of photo keeping, memory keeping thing. I have, of course, lots of ideas. It's just the amount of time I have. I think most of you know from watching me from May Made It that I do have a full-time job. I'm an accountant. And I do all of this at night and weekends. And so there's just so much time in the day to get it all done. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to flip it one more time and do the Thanksgiving letters. I'm going to flip them this way this time, since I know that I have everything. And then we'll go back and put the stickers and that little blingy bling on. So here's your H. And so I have the short piece at the top of the H and the long piece at the bottom. And then a big P. There's my Y, my A, and then I have a small P right there that goes right there. Okay. And I've always loved kits. We used to go to a lot of scrapbook conventions in the Atlanta area. Maybe I've been to one Nashville. I know there's some in Orlando, but I never made it down to that one. But they're very few and far between now. Not even just this year with the virus, but even before that, there's just not a whole lot out there anymore. And I'm not the only one that loves kits, so I'm hoping that I'm filling kind of a small void out there in the marketplace and that you're loving it. Let's see, the P and the Y. I really think this would be fun for a birthday, because you know happy fits on here, and you could just do birthday off the Cricut and do the blocks for the birthday party theme. I really may have to do that. If everything is not absolutely sold out, I may have to take up my own idea. I think that would be fun. So grab your stickers. We're in the home stretch now. So what we're going to do here on the Thanksgiving side, we're going to get this orange mushroom and this red heart. And here's the heart here, and the mushroom is there. So I guess I will stay zoomed in because I'm still going to be working here. And I like to hit this with a little bit of the black. I'm not going to put any extra ink on here, but what's left I'm going to put there. And so I'm going to put this right under the V and the I, kind of at an angle here. And I'm going to grab this little mushroom here. Oh, wouldn't this have been cute too to put some sparklies on the mushroom? That would be fun, like some clear sparkles. I'm sure a lot of you have lots of this stuff in your stash. So I'm just going to put the mushroom over the heart, or the heart over the mushroom, whichever way you like it. And I will show you the difference in these two here. One's, oh, no I won't. One's over, one's under, one's a little off to the side. So just kind of, you may want to dry fit that together before you put it on there. And then here I'm going to take, finally I'm going to get to this teeny tiny black bling. And I like to use my pokey tool or tweezers to kind of get it on the end there with the sticky. And then I'm going to kind of bridge the gap. I'm going to put that right where those two meet. And if you don't think it's strong enough, then you might want to put a little bit of the art glitter glue underneath it there. But I think it's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to now do the Christmas side. This here. So let me show you Christmas. So on the Christmas one, we're going to use this Noel here, this little tab, and this green and white snowflake. This here. So, oh, wrong set of stickers. So the Noel is up here in the upper right corner. And, well, where's my snowflake? I thought I had pre-looked. Oh, it's on the very end here, between those two ornaments. So I'm going to take the Noel, hit it with some black ink, and I'm going to put it all the way to the very right hand side and flush with the bottom of the pattern paper. So all the way to the right and flush to the bottom is where I put my Noel, right there in the corner, see? Then I'm going to grab that green and white snowflake that's all the way over here. And I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. This was so much fun to me and so different than putting together mini albums that I really have enjoyed it. I'm going to put this in the extreme left top corner over that Noel sticker. And then I'm going to put my last, come here, of this bling dot right where those two meet. Again, kind of like it's bridging the gap. So if you make this project, please share it with us for some inspiration over on my Facebook group page. Well, that did not work, did it? Lisa Wise Designs. And that's also linked below. Okay, fine. I just had to do it with my hands. I would love to see it. And I truly enjoy when you mix things up and use different pattern papers or use your own papers. I know some designers are like, well, that's not how I designed it. It doesn't matter to me. I want you to enjoy your project. So this is what your happy Thanksgiving now looks like. And I'm scared to turn it over. Oh, look, now I have two sets. Look at me. Now I can finally show the front and back at the same time. Great. Thank you. Thank you guys once again for being here. And I will be back tomorrow, and we're going to keep going on our mini album now that we have kind of got this put together. I hope you've loved this. Aren't they adorable? I just love it. I can't believe I can put this out for Thanksgiving and then just turn it around for Christmas and not have to put this part away. Okay, guys, I will see you same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. Bye.